Hey everyone, I'm just getting caught up with some little stuff. This is one of the more recent LEGO BrickHeadz sets from Star Wars The Mandalorian. This is The Mandalorian and the Child. The Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin, is represented in a early Season 1 form here. And what I like most about this figure is how much fine color it has in it. With this single print over here, that's pretty nice. And then I like especially the little bits of dark orange down there. That's feels like there's a piece that's not quite pushed in all the way. No, it is. It's just a bracket. But yeah, just those little bits of color. This feels like it has more color detail than most, if not all, of the BrickHeadz, at least that I personally have experienced. I'm not completely convinced about the shape of the helmet as viewed from the front. This print here works out well. You know, it's just duplicated. Yeah, like as I start to turn it, this looks good to me. I like the side, to be sure. Around the back, this looks really good. The cloak is pretty dynamic in its shaping. That's really nice. These are not intended to represent actual lightsaber hilts for folks, especially who haven't seen the show. Just Google pictures of the Mandalorian, the early views of him, and like, you know, other merchandise and stuff, and you'll see that these are intended to represent bullets, or rather full shells, unspent shells that are used for the holiday special Boba Fett rifle that he started out with. It's too bad they weren't able to recolor this long Star Wars blaster, minifig blaster, into brown. You know, get some brown into the look of this thing in general. It just feels maybe a little bit clean, but I'm okay with it. You know, at least they committed to the gray-based color scheme there, so it's not looking too disjointed. Overall, I definitely like the level of detail here. Even though the colors are earthy, it feels colorful to me in a good way, in a meaningful way. The Child comes with the carrier, which in this form looks more like a soft-boiled egg than I think any artwork I've seen, any other merchandise, anything. It just looks so much like a soft-boiled egg. Now, I will go ahead and point out right now, because it may be obvious if you're looking right there at those colors, since I talked about soft-boiled egg and we're thinking about yolk, well, that piece right there is clearly discolored. This is correct, and that's off. I put the piece there because it's what was included in the set, and LEGO does need to be called out on poor color, which they're doing more frequently these days, unfortunately. But moving past that, the build of this was actually surprising. They used some interesting techniques as you look at this from the side. That's a very specific little technical detail there, using these parts that have no LEGO logo on top of those studs. If there was a LEGO logo on top of those, then that would be an illegal technique. But as it is right now, it's a legal technique because those are in fact open studs. So no logo on top, completely open, and it fits. It makes it look like it has teeth here, but adds a little bit of detail. But just overall, I really like the shaping of that. Putting it together was interesting. You got the same thing here on the front. It's cool. It's definitely cool. You got some small details around the edges as well. And the best thing here that I didn't even realize until I built this is that it's designed to let the kid out. So you got that nice brown in there. It's just pretty consistent. You know, it's covered up pretty well. And then the kid is able to stand on his own. And this makes the Child look so much better because you get those proportions with the body looking so small. It makes it so much more cute than when it's in its carrier. Yeah, this works out so much better. Now, this is looking rather large, so comparatively speaking, like he should be much smaller than that, right? Like much smaller. But I'm okay with that. It is BrickHeadz. You know, it is a BrickHeadz. But for a BrickHeadz, I think this does a pretty good job of capturing the look of this little dude. If he is in fact a dude. If it is in fact a dude. We don't know that yet. That would be interesting if it's not. But yeah, captured pretty well. And with these ears, you can do this, which really changes the look. So now he looks scared, sad, ashamed, worried. You know, you really can see some emotion in that just by changing the ears compared to looking maybe more inquisitive, you know, interested, not too excited or anything, which is good. But yeah, you know, the small details, I think they count and they matter. But I just really like looking at this by itself. This thing, the soft-boiled egg, is a really nice build. But when you put these two together, I feel like the whole is less than the sum of its parts in this case, in my opinion. But I really like the parts. These 2 packs go for $20 US, $10 per figure, which is just the same as they've had for pricing for these the whole time. Price to part ratio varies a lot from figure to figure and has changed, has generally had a trend to it that's gone towards the better over time as they've made these a little bit more complex over time in general. So that's nice. And I think that the value is there, especially for this set. I think this is one of the better ones that they've done for the fan base, you know, within its own realm. I think that this captures things pretty nicely. The proportions are suspect indeed, but the whole thing I think displays pretty well and works out pretty well for the BrickHeadz line and the BrickHeadz look. And again, the builds were pretty cool. I think that's about all I have to say about these. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you again soon.